you talk to me like here.
Yeah. Okay.
You talk about kind of, if you could tell us who you are in your job, and
Yeah.
also maybe tell us a little bit about the Guildhall and what we have to offer.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. So my name is Ben. I work at Leicester Guildhall, and it's Leicester's oldest building. So it's Leicester's oldest domestic building. There are churches that are older, but this was actually built by the Corpus Christi Guild, which were based in St Martin's Church next door, which is now the cathedral. And it was built in 1390, so it is actually a medieval building, and it was extended in 1450, which you'll see the bays in the hall. There's 5 different bays, and they're delineated by these single pieces of wood called crook frames made from single pieces of timber. So it's original wood, 600 years old, and it's still standing, which I think is incredible. When Henry VIII dissolved the monastic orders and all the religious guilds, it fell into private ownership for a short while, around 1543, and then it became the town hall. It was also used as a courtroom, and then in Victorian times it fell into disrepair, and the Victorian people, the businessmen in the town, had a petition to have it demolished because it was looking quite unsightly, which would have been terrible because I'd have no job, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, but seriously, it was, very close to being demolished. The Leicestershire and Archaeological Historical Society raised money, had it restored, and it was opened in 1925 as a museum. So in 2 years, it will be its 100th anniversary as a museum. So, yeah. In 1832, the first police force in Leicester was formed, and they were based in these rooms here and upstairs, which is the Victorian cottages. Up until then, it was night watchmen that kept the peace in Leicester, but they were paid on a commission basis per arrest, which you can imagine was open to some corruption, incitement of fights, and beating people that perhaps hadn't done anything too bad. So the first police force came here, and we've got 2 police cells, which were holding cells, so it wasn't a prison, but if they arrested people, they'd put them in for the day or the night until they were transferred to the prison or taken to the courtroom. In 1876, a new town hall was built, so Leicester Guildhall wasn't the town hall anymore, and the police force had their own premises.
So what kind of stuff can we find in these rooms?
Yeah, so these medieval galleries are relatively new. They're probably the newer addition to the Guildhall, and they're about 10 years old. When Richard III was found, the idea was to create these 2 gallery spaces with finds from the Leicestershire records. So the things that you see in this gallery predate Richard III, so 1485 or older. And there's all sorts of artefacts, but all found in Leicester. I think for a museum, we're really fortunate in Leicester to have this building. It's very vibrant. We have a diverse range of events that we put on, and we have a lot of weddings. So we have 40 or 50 weddings every year, and we generate a lot of income, which is very important to keep us going, even though we're funded by Leicester City Council. And I think we're very appealing because we've got the historical side of things. So if people want to visit Leicester as a city, they can see the cathedral, the Richard III Centre, all the other museums, and they've got the Guildhall as well. But I think what we do here in terms of our events is really good. We do a lot of theatre, a lot of comedy, a lot of folk music, and we try to attract people that perhaps wouldn't otherwise come to a museum. People like to feel that they've got a connection to their city, so for people that are local, I think it's really good that they can come, they can see these things are good kind of social reminders of how things were in Leicester. I mean, the history of the Great Hall is incredible. Chaucer got married across the road in the late 14th century, and I think maybe not enough is made of that. And Shakespeare's performed in the Great Hall, so we've got good evidence that he did come here. And I think it's really good for people to connect with it. And then on the other side, with the discovery of Richard III, we get a lot of tourists. And again, I think Leicester's quite proud as a city. We've got a lot of heritage, and it's good to kind of show that off to people that visit the city.